Egypt, the richest source of archaeological treasures on the planet.
Functioned as a temple during the time of Queen Cleopatra and the Greek pharaohs. So this could be the perfect place for Cleopatra's lost tomb.
Has the mystery that haunted archaeologists for over 2,000 years finally been solved? Cleopatra has fascinated the world for millennia, from her political genius to her legendary beauty. But until now, her final resting place remained a mystery. Recent excavations at Taposiris Magna may have finally uncovered her tomb, revealing artifacts and evidence that could rewrite our understanding of ancient Egypt.
I never seen something like this.
Follow along as we explore the shocking discoveries and uncover the secrets of Cleopatra's lost tomb. The woman behind the legend. Cleopatra VII wasn't just another pretty face in ancient history books. She was a brilliant political strategist who spoke 9 languages and ruled Egypt during one of its most challenging periods. Born in 69 BC in Alexandria, she became queen at just 18 years old, navigating a world dominated by powerful Roman generals and ambitious rivals. Her relationships with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony weren't just romantic affairs, but calculated political alliances designed to protect Egypt's independence. When Cleopatra died in 30 BC, the circumstances surrounding her death sparked countless debates. Ancient writers claimed she let a poisonous asp bite her, choosing death over being paraded through Rome as a prisoner. Other scholars suggest she might have ingested poison instead. Whatever the truth, her body disappeared into history, and so did the location of her tomb. For over 2 millennia, archaeologists, treasure hunters, and historians have searched desperately for any clue about where Egypt's last pharaoh was laid to rest. The traditional belief among most Egyptologists points to Alexandria as her burial site. The royal palace where she lived and died stood in this magnificent coastal city. It made perfect sense that she would be buried near the place she called home. However, there's one massive problem with this theory. A catastrophic earthquake and tsunami struck Alexandria in 365 CE, causing massive sections of the city to sink beneath the Mediterranean Sea. The royal quarters, including any potential burial sites, now lie somewhere under tons of water and sediment. This geological disaster has made searching for Cleopatra's tomb in Alexandria nearly impossible. Underwater archaeology in this area faces enormous challenges. The Mediterranean has claimed countless ancient structures, temples, and palaces. Divers have discovered remarkable ruins beneath the waves, but finding a specific tomb in this submerged city remains like searching for a needle in an underwater haystack. Yet one determined archaeologist believes everyone has been looking in the wrong place all along. The Dominican lawyer who changed everything. Dr. Kathleen Martinez isn't your typical archaeologist. She started her career as a criminal lawyer in the Dominican Republic, spending years in courtrooms rather than excavation sites. But in 2002, something remarkable happened. After reading about Cleopatra and studying ancient Egyptian history, Martinez developed a theory so bold that most established archaeologists dismissed it immediately. She believed Cleopatra wasn't buried in Alexandria at all, but in a sacred temple complex about 30 miles west of the famous city. Her theory centered on understanding Cleopatra as a political leader and as someone deeply connected to Egyptian religion. Cleopatra proclaimed herself the living embodiment of the goddess Isis. This wasn't mere propaganda or ego. Ancient Egyptians believed their pharaohs were divine extensions of the gods themselves. Cleopatra took this seriously, associating herself with Isis in monuments, ceremonies, and public appearances throughout her reign. Martinez argued that if Cleopatra truly believed she was Isis incarnate, she wouldn't want a simple tomb in Alexandria. She would want her final resting place in a temple dedicated to Isis and her consort, Osiris. This theory led Martinez to Taposiris Magna, an ancient city whose name literally means Great Tomb of Osiris. Pharaoh Ptolemy II Philadelphus, one of Cleopatra's ancestors, founded this city around 280 BC. The site featured a massive temple complex dedicated to Osiris, the Egyptian god of death and resurrection. Most archaeologists ignored Taposiris Magna because ancient maps and texts barely mentioned it. The site had been partially excavated before, but nobody considered it significant enough to warrant serious investigation. Even famous explorers like Napoleon's scientists had surveyed the area in 1798 without finding anything particularly noteworthy. But Martinez saw something others missed. She approached the Egyptian government with her theory, and against all odds, they granted her permission to excavate the site in 2004. What happened next would vindicate her unconventional approach to archaeology. The foundation plate and coins that tell stories. In 2005, just a year after beginning her excavation at Taposiris Magna, Martinez made a breakthrough that would shape her entire project. Her team uncovered a small blue glass plate buried beneath the temple foundations. This was a foundation plate, an ancient Egyptian tradition where inscribed tablets were placed under buildings to record their purpose and dedication. Archaeologists had been searching for this plate since Napoleon's expedition in the 1800s, and all previous attempts had come up empty. Its discovery marked a major step forward in understanding the temple and its significance. The inscriptions on the plate were written in both Greek and hieroglyphics. Once translated, they revealed that the temple had been dedicated to the goddess Isis for over 500 years. This supported Martinez's theory that Cleopatra might have been drawn to the site. The queen often associated herself with Isis, so a temple honoring the goddess for centuries would have held deep spiritual meaning. The foundation plate also resolved questions about the temple's religious focus, confirming that Isis held central importance and making the site a strong candidate for a burial place connected to Cleopatra. As the excavation continued, Martinez's team uncovered hundreds of bronze coins throughout the temple complex. Many featured Cleopatra's profile with her name inscribed in Greek, while others depicted Alexander the Great, tying the site to the Ptolemaic dynasty. The number and concentration of coins suggested the temple was an important location during her reign. Some coins bore evidence of use, showing that people actively visited and utilized the site, while others may have been placed deliberately as ceremonial offerings, reflecting the temple's active role in religious and civic life. The coins offered more than historical context. They provided one of the most accurate depictions of Cleopatra's appearance, showing a woman with strong, distinctive features and a prominent nose. This portrayal differed from later idealized images shaped by art and literature. The findings revealed a queen whose influence came from intelligence, strategy, and presence, rather than traditional notions of beauty. Together with the foundation plate, the coins strengthened the argument that Taposiris Magna was a significant location during her lifetime and a possible place for her tomb, giving historians and archaeologists new perspectives on Cleopatra and her connection to this remarkable temple complex. Mummies covered in gold. As excavations continued deeper into the temple complex, Martinez's team started discovering burial chambers. These weren't simple graves. They were elaborate underground tombs designed for people of significant status. Inside these chambers, archaeologists found something breathtaking. Mummies wrapped in ancient linen still rested in their original positions after more than 2,000 years. Some of these mummies had been covered in gold leaf, a burial practice reserved for the elite. The gold-covered mummies indicated that important people chose to be buried at Taposiris Magna. Ancient Egyptians believed gold possessed divine qualities and would help the deceased in the afterlife. Only wealthy nobles, priests, or individuals connected to the royal family could afford such expensive burial treatments. The presence of these elaborate mummies suggested the temple held special religious and social significance during the Ptolemaic period. Two of the most remarkable mummies featured an unusual detail. Golden tongues had been placed in their mouths during the burial process. This specific ritual allowed the dead to speak in the afterlife, particularly when meeting Osiris, the god who judged souls. Egyptians believed that without the ability to speak, a person couldn't defend themselves during divine judgment. The golden tongue ritual represented an insurance policy for the afterlife, guaranteeing the deceased could present their case to the gods. Martinez's team discovered a total of 10 mummies across various burial sites within the temple complex. 20 tombs showed evidence of use during the Greco-Roman period, with some shaped like vaulted sarcophagi, partially above and below ground. Others featured staircases leading to simple burial chambers carved into the rock. The variety of tomb styles indicated that Taposiris Magna served as a cemetery for different social classes over several generations. This discovery raised an exciting possibility. If nobles and priests chose burial here, might Cleopatra herself have selected this location? Statues and sacred artifacts. Beyond coins and mummies, the excavation revealed hundreds of other artifacts. Limestone vessels designed to hold food and cosmetics emerged from the sandoil lamps that once illuminated dark temple corridors lay scattered throughout the site. Bronze rings dedicated to various goddesses appeared in ceremonial deposits. One particularly interesting find was a scarab amulet engraved with the phrase, "The justice of Ra has arisen." These everyday objects painted a vivid picture of religious life at Taposiris Magna. The team also discovered multiple statues of the goddess Isis scattered throughout the temple grounds. These statues range from small figurines to larger ceremonial pieces. Their presence reinforced the temple's dedication to this goddess and its potential appeal to Cleopatra. One statue depicted Isis nursing her son Horus, a common representation showing the goddess's maternal and protective aspects. Cleopatra often associated herself with this image, particularly after giving birth to Julius Caesar's son, Caesarion. A limestone statue of a king wearing the traditional Nimes headdress added another layer to the mystery. The statue's identity remains uncertain, but its placement near other significant finds suggests it represented someone important to the temple's history. Some archaeologists speculate it might depict one of the Ptolemaic pharaohs, possibly even someone from Cleopatra's family line. The artistic style matches the period, and the quality of the carving indicates skilled craftsmen worked on this piece. Then came the discovery that sparked worldwide attention. In December 2024, Martinez's team uncovered a white marble bust depicting a woman wearing a royal crown. The statue's elegant features and regal bearing led Martinez to believe it represented Cleopatra herself. The bust was found beneath the southern wall of the temple's outer enclosure, suggesting it once held a place of honor. Within the complex, Martinez argued that the facial features and artistic style matched other known depictions of the famous queen. The marble bust controversy. The marble bust, discovered at Taposiris Magna, drew significant attention because Martinez suggested it depicted Cleopatra. She cited the royal crown, detailed carving, and its location near other Cleopatra-related artifacts as supporting evidence. The find generated global media coverage, with many reporting that the queen's image had finally been revealed. Not all experts agreed with this interpretation. Dr. Zahi Hawass, former Minister of Antiquities, argued that the bust displayed Roman artistic features rather than Egyptian ones, and other archaeologists noted differences between the bust's facial structure and images of Cleopatra on coins. They suggested it might represent another Ptolemaic queen or princess. The debate highlights the difficulty of attributing ancient statues without inscriptions, but the bust confirms Taposiris Magna's importance during the Ptolemaic period. The engineering marvel beneath the temple. In November 2022, Martinez's team made what might be their most significant discovery yet. While excavating beneath the temple grounds, they found the entrance to an underground tunnel carved directly into the bedrock. This wasn't a small passageway. The tunnel stretched an incredible 1,305 meters through solid sandstone, tall enough for a person to walk through comfortably. Egyptian officials immediately described it as an engineering miracle and compared it to famous ancient tunnels like the Eupalinos Tunnel in Greece. The tunnel's discovery raised immediate questions. Why would ancient builders invest enormous effort creating such an extensive underground passage? The tunnel sat 43 feet below the surface, requiring incredible engineering skill to excavate and maintain. Workers would have spent years carving through solid rock, carefully ensuring the structure remained stable. Ancient builders didn't undertake such massive projects without important reasons. The tunnel had to serve a crucial purpose. But what? Part of the tunnel was submerged underwater, flooded by seawater from the nearby Mediterranean. This flooding presented both challenges and opportunities. The water preserved artifacts that might have deteriorated in dry conditions, but it also made exploration significantly more difficult. Martinez's team worked carefully to document everything they found, including ceramic jars and pottery fragments from the Ptolemaic period. These artifacts proved the tunnel was actively used during Cleopatra's lifetime. The tunnel's direction added another intriguing element. It appeared to head straight toward the Mediterranean Sea. Martinez theorized that the passage might connect the temple to an ancient port or harbor. If true, this would explain how important visitors, sacred objects, or even royal bodies could be transported to the temple secretly. Ancient Egyptians placed great importance on ritual and ceremony. Having a hidden passageway for sacred purposes fit perfectly with their religious practices and beliefs about death. The underwater port that changed everything. When Martinez's team realized the tunnel headed toward the sea, she knew she needed expert help. She contacted Dr. Robert Ballard, the legendary oceanographer who discovered the Titanic wreck in 1985. Ballard's expertise in underwater exploration and advanced mapping technology made him the perfect partner for this challenging investigation. In 2024, Ballard and Martinez began a comprehensive underwater survey of the coastline near Taposiris Magna. What they found shocked everyone involved in the project. Approximately 40 feet below the Mediterranean's surface, the team discovered remains of a massive ancient port. The underwater structures included stone buildings, rising more than 6 meters high, polished floors that once served as walkways, standing columns, cement blocks, and scattered pottery fragments. The scale of this port suggested it wasn't a small fishing village, but a major commercial and religious hub during ancient times. The discovery of anchors and Ptolemaic amphorae confirmed the port's age. These distinctive storage jars were used throughout the Ptolemaic dynasty for transporting wine, oil, and other goods. Finding them scattered around the underwater structures proved the port operated during Cleopatra's reign. Martinez described the find as proof that Taposiris Magna wasn't an isolated temple in the middle of nowhere, but a thriving center of activity with direct connections to maritime trade routes. The Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities announced the port discovery in September 2025, highlighting its significance for understanding ancient Egyptian maritime activities. Officials noted that this port wasn't mentioned in any surviving ancient texts or maps, making it a completely unexpected find. The discovery added substantially to Egyptian maritime archaeology and suggested the country's coasts served as strategic hubs for commercial and cultural exchange with the ancient world. Connecting land and sea. The underwater port discovery suddenly made the tunnel's purpose crystal clear. The passage didn't just lead toward the sea randomly. It connected the temple complex directly to this ancient harbor. This revelation transformed how archaeologists understood Taposiris Magna's importance. The site wasn't merely a religious temple, but a sophisticated complex integrating spiritual, commercial, and possibly royal functions all in one location. Martinez developed a theory about how Cleopatra's body might have been transported after her death. Ancient texts say she died in Alexandria, likely in her palace after losing the war against Octavian. If her supporters wanted to bury her at Taposiris Magna instead of Alexandria, they would need a secure, secret method of transportation. The tunnel provided exactly that. Her body could have been brought by boat to this hidden port, carried through the underground passage, and laid to rest somewhere within the temple complex. This theory explains why her tomb has never been found in Alexandria. Cleopatra's close advisors and remaining supporters would have known the Romans wanted her body as a trophy. Being buried in an obvious location would risk desecration. However, a secret tunnel leading to a sacred temple 30 miles away offered protection. The Romans might have assumed she was buried in Alexandria, never discovering the truth about her actual resting place. The tunnel discovery also revealed networks connecting Lake Mariot to the Mediterranean. Previous excavations had found evidence of these water channels, but nobody understood how extensively they connected different sites. The underwater port added another piece to this puzzle. Taposiris Magna sat at the intersection of multiple transportation routes, making it accessible by both land and sea. This strategic location would have made the temple complex especially valuable during Cleopatra's time. The necropolis and ancient catacombs. As excavations expanded beyond the main temple, Martinez's team discovered an extensive necropolis containing at least 20 tombs. These weren't simple graves, but elaborate catacombs and chambers carved into the rock. Some featured multiple levels with decorated walls and carved niches for burial containers. The necropolis's size indicated that many people considered Taposiris Magna their desired eternal resting place over several centuries. 3 chambers within the necropolis yielded particularly interesting artifacts. Marble busts similar to the controversial Cleopatra statue appeared in these chambers, suggesting that wealthy families commissioned high-quality art for their deceased relatives. Bronze statues, decorative elements, and inscribed stones provided clues about the people buried here. Some inscriptions mentioned priests who served in the temple, while others referenced merchants and officials who lived in the area. The discovery of catacombs from the 4th century showed that people continued using this site for burials long after Cleopatra's death. Early Christian communities sometimes repurposed ancient Egyptian burial sites, adapting them to their religious practices. The mixture of time periods and burial styles indicated Taposiris Magna remained important for nearly 1,000 years. This longevity suggested the site held deep spiritual significance that transcended individual dynasties or religious changes. Underground rooms revealed evidence of ancient preparation areas where priests would have performed mummification rituals. Stone tables, drainage channels, and specialized tools indicated sophisticated knowledge of preservation techniques. The presence of these facilities within the temple complex suggested that important individuals received mummification services on site rather than being transported elsewhere. This discovery added weight to Martinez's theory that Cleopatra could have been prepared and buried at Taposiris Magna. What experts are saying. The archaeological community remains divided over Martinez's claims. Supporters highlight evidence linking Taposiris Magna to Cleopatra's era, including coins, pottery, a tunnel, and a submerged port, as well as the temple's dedication to Isis, reflecting the queen's association with the goddess. They argue that these findings suggest the site was significant during her reign and could have served as her burial place. Skeptics point to historical records indicating Cleopatra was likely buried in Alexandria's royal cemetery, noting the absence of ancient references to Taposiris Magna as her tomb. Experts like Dr. Zahi Hawass remain cautious but hopeful, emphasizing the importance of finding her and Mark Antony's tombs. Other scholars, such as Professor Irene Soto-Marin, stress that the site's artifacts also shed light on the lives of ordinary Egyptians, showing that Taposiris Magna provides valuable insights into Ptolemaic Egypt, even if Cleopatra is not buried there. The technology bringing ancient Egypt back to life. Modern technology has transformed how archaeologists explore sites like Taposiris Magna. Martinez's team uses advanced robots equipped with cameras and sensors to investigate dangerous or difficult-to-reach areas within the tunnel system. These robots can navigate flooded passages, map underground chambers, and identify artifacts without disturbing fragile structures. The digital data collected helps create detailed three-dimensional models of the entire complex. Photogrammetry techniques allow researchers to construct incredibly accurate digital reconstructions of underwater structures. By taking thousands of overlapping photographs, computers can generate models showing exactly how the ancient port looked. These models reveal details invisible to the naked eye and help archaeologists understand how different structures are connected. The technology has proven especially valuable for studying the underwater portions of Taposiris Magna, affected by earthquakes and flooding. Ground-penetrating radar surveys reveal hidden chambers and passages without requiring excavation. This technology sends radio waves into the ground and measures how they reflect off different materials. Dense stone, empty chambers, and metal objects all create different signatures. Archaeologists can literally see underground before digging, helping them target the most promising areas for investigation. This approach saves time, protects fragile sites, and increases the chances of finding significant discoveries. Dr. Ballard brought his decades of oceanographic experience and cutting-edge mapping equipment to the project. His team created a detailed technological map covering approximately 6 miles of underwater territory near Taposiris Magna. This map shows the port, submerged shoreline, and various underwater structures with remarkable precision. Using this information, Martinez plans new excavations focusing on specific areas identified as particularly promising for further investigation. The cultural impact of Cleopatra's mystery. Cleopatra's missing tomb is more than an archaeological puzzle. She remains one of the most recognized figures in history, remembered through literature, films, and artworks. Over the centuries, Shakespeare's plays and Elizabeth Taylor's portrayal in the 1963 film Cleopatra shaped modern perceptions, while historians continue to debate her true life and legacy. Discovering her tomb and any artifacts inside could reveal her story from her own perspective, rather than through accounts written by her Roman enemies. The search also has significant cultural and public impact. Egypt's Ministry of Tourism highlights the potential to attract international attention and millions of visitors if the tomb is confirmed. Excavations at Taposiris Magna allow unique opportunities for public engagement, including programs where travelers can observe ongoing work firsthand. These initiatives support research, showcase Egypt's cultural heritage, and offer a direct connection between the public and the history of one of the world's most famous queens. The search for Cleopatra's tomb at Taposiris Magna has revealed coins, statues, mummies, a tunnel, and a submerged port, showing the site was a major religious, commercial, and possibly royal center, offering fresh insights into life and worship during the Ptolemaic, one of history's most fascinating eras. What do you think? Could Cleopatra really be buried beneath this temple complex? Or are archaeologists searching in the wrong place? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.